So today's our last day of word problems, and then on Monday we'll do test review, and Tuesday take a test, and then you get a break. All right. Number 1, 3 times Mark's age is 6 more than twice Anna's age. The sum of their ages is 32. How old are Mark and Anna? Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is put what x equals and y equals, just like we've been doing all week. Put x equals and y equals. Who are the two people we're talking about? Mark and Anna. So I'll let x be Mark and y be Anna. Okay, just like before, you need to do your equation in the order that it says. You need to do your equation in the order it says. It starts out with 3 times Mark's age. That's what I need to write first. 3 times. What letter are we using for Mark? X. So 3x is going to be my first thing. 3 times Mark's age. Then I see an equals. I got to stop when I see an equals. I got to stop when I see is and put an equals. Okay? Is means equals. 6 more than. What symbol do I put for more than? Plus. More than is a plus. Twice. That's going to be 2 times Anna's age. What letter am I using for that? Y. Okay, so that's my first equation. 3x equals 6 plus 2y. All right? The next equation is going to be the sum of their ages. So the sum of both of them. What does sum mean? Add. And we're adding both of them. So that just means x plus y is equals 32. Okay. All right. The equation in red, something's in the wrong place. What's in the wrong place? 2y. So 2y moves over here. There's nothing to put it with. I just need to move it over there. So I'm going to write my new equation right here. So it's going to be 3x. Positive 2y moved, so it became what? Negative 2y equals 6. And then I'm going to do the same thing I've always done. Okay? All right, Elijah, what do you want to do right here to solve this? How can I get something to cancel? Okay, it's already negative 2, so I'm going to put a positive 2. Good. Okay, so I'm going to multiply the top one by positive 2. You got to multiply everything. So 2x plus 2y equals 64. Multiply everything by 2. All right, draw my line. Okay, and we're going to add these. We're going to add them. All right, so what's 3 plus 2? 5. My y's cancel. 6 plus 64 is 70. And what do I do next? Divide by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. 14. All right, so x is 14. Okay, so who was x? Mark. So I'm going to go back up here and put it. A lot of you were doing that on your quiz yesterday. It was great. So Mark is 14 years old. The easiest equation to plug it into would be this one right here in blue. You don't have to worry about the 2. You're just doing this one in blue. So x is 14 plus y equals 32. Madison, what would I do next? Good. Can I take 4 away from 2? No, so I have to borrow. So this becomes a 2, that becomes a 12, and you get 8 and 1. So you get 18. Get 18. So Anna is 18. Questions? Okay, Number 2, Sarah's age plus twice Lauren's age is 63. Lauren is also 3 times Sarah's age. How old is Sarah? How old is Lauren? Stephen, what are our X and Y going to be? Who are the 2 people? And we'll do Sarah first because that's the order they give it to us in. So Sarah and Lauren. Okay. All right, so this first sentence, I see Sarah's age. Well, that's a variable. What variable do we say Sarah was going to be? X. So I automatically put an X. For Sarah's age, I put an X. Then I see the word plus, so I put a plus sign. Whenever you see twice, that's when you're putting the 2. And then for Lauren's age, I also have to put a letter. What letter is that? Y. Is equals 63. Okay? Okay, when you get to the period, that's the end of the first equation. So now we're going to do the second one. So I see Lauren. Well, Lauren is one of our letters. Lauren is the letter Y, so I put a Y for Lauren. Then I see an is. I got to stop. What do I put for is? Equals 3, so I put a 3 times Sarah. What letter is Sarah? X. Okay, this one is not a multiply, multiply, cancel, cancel. It is a plug it in, because you have one already solved. You have one already solved. What letter's by itself? What letter's already been solved for? Y. Y is by itself, so you put Y in parentheses up there. All right, Elijah, how am I going to plug in? What am I going to write? And we'll plug this into that one. So how do I write that? When one's solved for, you're going to plug it in. Okay? All right, Shakira, help me from there. And that gives you 6x. And so the 2 disappears, and you drop down your x. Okay. Riley M., help me out from here. Very good. So x is 9. Good. Zach, which one would be easier to plug it into, the top one or the bottom one? The bottom one would be a lot easier to work with. It's got a lot less going on. So y equals 3. I know what x is. X is 9. So what's 3 times 9? Okay, so Sarah is 9 years old and Lauren is 27 years old.
It says that Lauren's age is 3 times Sarah's age. Can we just, like, automatically just be like 9 times 3?
And not sure you work for that last part. Is that what you mean?
I mean, you could write down 9 times 3.
Yeah, and that's essentially all I did, really. Yeah. Okay. All right. Number 3, there are 250 students in the freshman class. The number of girls is 20 fewer than twice the number of boys. How many boys and how many girls are in the class? So always do your x plus y. Always do your x equals and y equals. Always do that step, please. Faith, what do you think x and y are going to be? Girls and boys. Okay, let's look at this first sentence. There are 250 students in the freshman class. What's another way to say that? There's a total of 250, so that would be equals 250. Well, who are these students? How could you describe these students? What are they? They're girls and boys. Okay, so when I put the girls and boys together, there's 250 of them. How can I put these together mathematically? What would I put? X plus y. Okay, so together there's 250 of them. Okay, now let's read the next sentence. The number of girls. Well, that's a variable. What variable is that one? X. Girls is X. Is equals. Okay. Fewer than is also like that one we had the other day, the less than. Fewer than is also one you have to switch it around. So you don't put the 20 next. It's going to be minus 20 out there. Just if it said less than as well, you'd put it out the end. All right, and then twice the number of boys. Well, boys is Y, but it said twice, so I have to put what? 2Y. Okay. All right, multiply, multiply, cancel, cancel, or plug it in, plug it in. Plug it in, all right? So X is by itself, so I put X in parentheses. Put X in parentheses. Okay. All right. Chase, help me plug it in. What would I write? Guys, is there a number in front of X right here? So you really don't need parentheses on this one because there's nothing to distribute. There's nothing to distribute. So you really don't have to put the parentheses. You can. If you did put it in parentheses, you would put a 1, but it wouldn't change anything. You just kind of be doing extra work. All right, so I'll draw my line. Brandon, help me with something. Wonderful. So that gives you 270. Faith, what else do I have over here? Gives you 3y. Okay. All right, let's do some long division. Yay! Love long division. Love it. 3, does it go into 2? No. Does 3 go into 27? How many times? 9. 3 times 9 is 27. Subtract these, gives you 0. Drop down your 0. 3 goes into 0. 0. Remember to go all the way to the edge of your number. So you get 90. Y is 90. Y is 90. Okay, in this particular problem, which one's easier to plug it into? X plus Y equals 250. The other one's pretty easy too. Either one, but the top one I like the best. X plus, I now know what Y is. Y is 90 equals 250 minus 90. What's 250 minus 90? 160. Questions? Okay. Number 4, the length of a rectangle is 8 centimeters more than twice the width. The perimeter of the rectangle is 34. What is the length of the rectangle? Somebody tell me something to do first. X equals and Y equals. Any idea what X and Y are? Good. Length and width. I also want you to draw a rectangle on this one. Everybody do it, please. I want you to draw a rectangle. Draw a rectangle. Okay? We said X was the length, so I'm going to put an X and an X on both sides of those. Put an X and an X. Okay? We said the width was Y, so I'm going to put a Y and a Y. Okay, so that's what my picture looks like. Okay, so let's read the first sentence. It says the length. So that cues me. I already wrote length over here. What letter is length? X. So I'm going to put X. The length of a rectangle is, so I got to stop. Hold up, wait a minute. What do I do for is? Equals 8 more than is a plus twice. I have to put a to the width is y. Okay. Then it says the perimeter. The perimeter. What does perimeter mean to do? Add all the sides. So let's look at our picture. If we add these, what's x plus x? What's y plus y? So the perimeter is that. The perimeter is that. I added the sides. So x plus x is 2x, y plus y is 2y. So I'm going to put 2x plus 2y equals 34. Okay. All right, Faith, multiply, multiply, cancel, cancel, or plug it in? Good. So x is the one that's by itself, so I'll put parentheses around the x. Elijah, help me write that out.
2 parentheses 8 plus 2 equals 30.
Very good. Hallie, what happens next? Okay, so I get 16 plus 4y. Don't forget about this 2y. Drop it down. Equals 34. Zach, what happens now? All right, so I've got to borrow, so that becomes a 2. That becomes a 14, which gives you 18. And you add those, which gives you 6. 18 divided by 6? 3. So the width is 3. The width is 3. Okay. Brandon, which one you want to plug it into? The top one or the bottom one? The bottom one? So how do I write that? Good. So 2 times 6, 2 times 3 is 6. When I move it over here, I get 28. And divided by 2, x is 14. So I got a 3 by 14 rectangle. 3 by 14 rectangle. Okay. All right, number 5, the width of a rectangle is 2 centimeters less than the length. The perimeter of the rectangle is 16. What is the length of the rectangle? Faith, help me with the first step. Okay, what do you want to make them? If you switched them, you're going to get the same answer, just switched. All right, so if you switched them on your paper, that's fine. Okay, Elijah, help me with the next step. Well, which one did I put for width? Uh-huh. Good. Is equals. Very good. Elijah already switched them. He saw less than and switched them. So it's x minus 2. X minus 2. All right, switch them around. Okay. All right, Chase, what else? Where did 2x and 2y come from? The perimeter means to add all the sides. Means to add all the sides. So 2 x's and 2 y's. Okay, good. All right, Shakira, help me from there. Okay, so what am I going to write here? Is yours backwards? Sorry, is yours backwards than mine? No, yeah, the same thing. So 2x, yeah. 2x plus 2, but what do I put there? Yep. Yep. Good. Okay. Riley M., what do I do next? Okay. Very good. Riley K. Brandon? All right, X is 5. So, Zach, what happens next? All right, what does that give you? 3. So, you got a 3 by 5 rectangle. A 3 by 5 rectangle. Okay. All right, the next one. The width of a rectangle is 1/2 its length. The perimeter of the rectangle is 54. What are the width and length of the rectangle? Madison, help me with the first step. Okay, what do you want to let them be? Okay, width and length this time. All right, everybody look up here real quick for me. Look up here. The width is what letter? X. Is equals 1/2. How do you write that? 1/2. 1/2 its length just means to put them right next to each other. So it's going to be 1/2 y. It didn't say 1/2 plus the length. It didn't say 1/2 less than length. It just said 1/2 its length. That means to multiply them, put them together. Okay. All right, for perimeter, Shakir, what do I write for that one? Uh-huh. So how do I write it right here? Good. Equals what in this one? Good. Okay. All right, Hallie, what are you going to do next? Plug it in. So X is by itself, so I put parentheses around the X. So Samaria, help me write it out. What would I write? Good. Okay, so put a 1 underneath this one. What's 2 times 1? 2, and then on the bottom, 1 times 2. And what's 2 divided by 2? 1. So this just gives you 1. Right. Stephen, 1y plus 2y. Jack, what do you do next? What do you get? Yep. So y is 18, and when you plug it in, Elijah, what am I going to do there? Good. What's half of 18? 9. So that one is a 9 by 18 rectangle. A 9 by 18. Okay. Okay. All right, let's skip to number 8. Mrs. Chang wants to build a sandbox for her daughter. She has only 26 feet of wood to build the perimeter of the sandbox. What should the dimensions of the sandbox be if she wants the length to be 3 feet greater than the width? All right, so let's just do this one step by step. It's not any harder. It's just worded different. Chase, what am I doing first? Okay, what are they? Zach, what's the first piece of information they give you that's important? Yep, she only has 26 feet for the what? For the perimeter. So 26 is going to have to go with the perimeter. Hallie, how do we write the perimeter expression? Good. So for perimeter, you're always putting that if it's a rectangle. 2x and 2y. Okay? All right. Then they tell us the length. She wants the length to be 3 feet greater than the width. Okay, so let's start here. What letter's length? In our case, we put an X. To be is the same thing as is. All right, she wants it to be. She wants it to equal 3 greater than. I'm not putting a greater than symbol for this one. What am I putting? A plus. And what letter is the width? Y. Okay. All right, so Mary, what would you do next? Plug it in. So we're putting it in for X this time. Elijah, help me write that out. Get it. Okay. And Jeremy, what do you get when you multiply right here? 2 times 3. And 2 times y. 2y. Riley K, what happens next? And Stephen R, what do you do last right here? Uh-huh. And so you get y is 20. I'm sorry, y is 5. Sorry, y is 5. And Brandon, which one's the easiest one to plug it into, the top or the bottom? Bottom one's easier. It's got less numbers. You would just do 3 plus 5, which is 8. Okay. Okay. I want you to do